and we're talking about herbology. And once again, I've got all these questions, and we're not even halfway through. So let's go back to how to treat colds and flus. What can you expect when you're treating a cold or flu with herbs?
Well, if you've picked the right plant, if you chose the plant that should work, and you take it frequently enough, like every 2 hours, then the effect is pretty not instantaneous, but it takes like half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour for you to feel an effect. So that would be, let's say you start have a tingling in your throat, or your eyes are more sensitive, or you start sneezing. Then you take, for example, a mix of echinacea tincture, elderflower tincture, and let's say bone set, if you picked it yourself, because it's hard to find in stores. And you take that every 2 hours, then the tingling sensation, these symptoms you had should go away really quickly, like in half an hour. And then if you don't keep on taking it, you'll feel them coming back. It's very, very weird feeling. So you take the mix of echinacea, elderflower, then you feel good, and then you forget about taking the next time, whoop, it comes back. And then so it's ideally you take it before it comes back. And if you don't feel better quickly, then it's because either you're not taking enough or you're not taking the right plant, because when you're treating an acute infection, you should feel better really quickly.
Wow, that's strong. Eh?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Or you're not taking enough if it's not doing anything. Mm-hmm. Don't see that effect if you're not getting better. Let's say you've taken plants for 12 to 24 hours. I make it shorter for children. Let's say you want to treat your child has a fever, a cold, and you're treating it, and they start complaining of ear pain, because all that mucus and inflammation can block the ear canal more quickly in children, and then just being blocked will cause pain, and that's why they complain. So it's not necessarily right away a bacterial ear infection. It takes 4 to 5 days to become bacterial. But if the pain doesn't go away quickly, then I suggest people to get help from conventional medicine quicker than in an adult, because they deal with it can become more acute and plus grave. En fait, chez un enfant, ça peut devenir plus grave plus rapidement. Mm-hmm. Donc, s'il n'y a pas d'amélioration, 12 à 24 heures pour un enfant, and maybe 24 hours for an adult, then get some help, because you're obviously not doing the right thing, because it's not going away. And it's not to make you feel bad if it's not getting better. It happens all the time. It happened to me. It's just to know your limits and get help when you get there, and not feel guilty, because then you can get better really quickly with conventional medicine, and get more information to be more ready next time.
So maybe you're taking your tinctures every 90 minutes, but you're eating sugar, or you're not able to rest, or you have a lot of stress going on. You know, you have a deadline and you're trying to get a paper in or finish a contract.
Your immune system is not top shape. Yeah. For example, echinacea has been used a lot, and a lot of people say, oh, it's not working. But echinacea brings your immune defenses to the action. But if your immune system is tired, we talked the other show a little bit about the impacts of stress on the immune system. So if you have a tendency to have 3, 4, 5 colds a year, if you're very sensitive to different viruses, then your immune system might not be in good shape, and then taking echinacea will not work, because you don't have any defense system. So it's another way to approach it. If you're in that situation, then before you take plants, the immune tonics that would repair your immune system, to be ready when you get sick. It could be that, or it could be also that your mucous membranes are irritated from either smoking or working with toxic solvents, or just washing your windows, or just repainted your house, and all your mucous membranes are more irritated, so they're more fragile, so they won't react as quickly with plants and get rid of the virus. They're more sensitive to it.
That's a very good point. So all these factors could lead up to not reacting to the herbs you're taking. You know?
Exactly.
And what if it gets worse? What do you recommend?
There are two things. Let's say you've treated the infection. Usually, when you catch it really early, but we don't, myself included, don't do. When I get the first symptoms, I'm like, no, I'll be better tomorrow. It's okay. I'll be better tomorrow. It's okay. But then it just keeps on getting worse. So let's say you've done that, like most of us do. and you've been sick for a couple of
denial.
days. Exactly. And then you start taking elderflower, echinacea, boneset. It doesn't work. Then it keeps on getting worse, and then you get a cough that's more and more present, more painful. You get more fever. Then you can suspect you're entering into the bacterial infection. And then all the antivirals I've talked about, like elderflowers or boneset, will not be efficient because they're good against viruses, but not against bacteria. So you have to know what you're dealing with. And so either you want to keep on going at it yourself, but you have to be aware that it can become bad really quickly. I mean, a bronchitis can turn into a pneumonia, or and then be really detrimental to yourself. So, but if you want to look into antibacterial plants, there are really good effective plants, like thyme is a good one. Thyme, the spice, is an antibacterial plant, or ginger also. And garlic is one of my favorites because usually people always have it at home. You can find it at any IGA, or even like in a most remote place in Quebec where there's nothing, you'll find garlic. So it's a really good medicinal plant to know.
I'm curious about garlic because I love garlic. I'm of Greek background, and garlic and onions and everything. I can't eat the garlic that comes from out of overseas. I just eat the garlic that's grown here in Quebec, whether it's grown here or whether it's organic, either one. But it has to be a local garlic. I find I get actually sick when I eat the garlic from like China, for instance, the one that's mostly in the IGs. What is that?
Do you get like nauseous or headaches, or what happens when you...
That's a good question. Yeah, no, I get into, coughing and mucus and
you could be, a lot of the food coming in from China is they use pesticides that they have stopped using in North America for a long time. So you could be reacting to those toxic substances. A lot of the time it's irradiated too. So it could be not the I'd suspect it's not the garlic per se, but it's the stuff that's in the garlic.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to eat the garlic anyway because I can't take the two, separate the two. Now, another thing about onions, because I'm a massage therapist and getting quite close to people, I can have, garlic breath, but I eat a lot of onions. I find that raw onions particularly are good, and they don't affect my order of my breath. At least I haven't been told. Could be, but what is they're also as good antibacterial, correct?
They're not as potent and as because garlic is very efficient against all sorts of bacteria. There are different types of bacteria. Onion is not as potent, but it's also very interesting. So it's onion and garlic also are good to liquefy mucus. So when the kids usually have a very runny nose and you don't want to liquefy it more, but when it's stuffed up like sinusitis usually is, and it's blocked, then you want to make it more liquid. And any spice like cayenne pepper or garlic and onion is really good for that too.
Wonderful. And that's the music letting us know the end of the show is near. And thank you so much for coming again, Anne.
You're welcome. I just wanted to mention I'm going to give a workshop on colds and flus on February 3rd in Bromont. It's a workshop held in French, but I'm very happy to answer questions in English during the workshop. So if anybody's interested, on my blog, on my website, or can I give the phone number?
Guérir par les plantes.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And see you next time.